An off-spinner who was both accurate and penetrative, Srinivas Venkataraghavan was a member of the famous spin quartet which teased and tormented batsmen the world over for well over a decade. He was a fighter to the core. Having to compete with EAS Prasanna for the off-spinner's slot, Venkat was in an unenviable position. But he kept improving as a bowler, was a useful tail-end batsman, an excellent close-in fieldsman and a shrewd captain. The international career of Venkat, who remained very fit throughout his playing days, lasted from February 1965 to September 1983, one of the longest for an Indian player. Not yet out of his teens when he made his Test debut, Venkat made an immediate impact by taking 21 wickets in 4 Tests against New Zealand, including 12 wickets in the final game at New Delhi. But once the spin quartet was formed, Venkat found himself more out of the side than in it. Now and then, however, he made his presence felt, like when he took 5 for 95 to star in India's victory over West Indies at Port of Spain in 1970-71. That India rubber year remained Venkat's high watermark. He took 35 wickets in 8 Tests, besides being the vice-captain of a victorious team. However, he could command a regular place in the side only after the spin quartet had broken up in the late 70s. He led India in the first 2 World Cup competitions and also on the Tour of England in 1979. By 1980, however, he had lost his place in the side, but, even as his career seemed over, he made a comeback in 1983 when he was picked for the Tour of the West Indies. He retired from first-class cricket in 1985 after taking the second biggest haul of wickets in the Ranji Trophy, 530. In retirement, Venkat has been an administrator, a manager of the Indian side, before turning successfully to umpiring where he became one of the most respected officials in the game. He officiated in 1973 Tests and 52 ODIs before retiring from umpiring in March 2004. Srinivas Venkataraghavan debuted in Test cricket against New Zealand at Chennai on 27 February 1965. His last Test match was against Pakistan at Jalandhar on 24 September 1983. Srinivas Venkataraghavan debuted in ODI cricket against England at Leeds on 13 July 1974. His last ODI match was against West Indies at St. George's on 7 April 1983. Srinivas Venkataraghavan played 57 Test matches and took 156 wickets with a bowling average of 36.11. His best bowling of 8 for 72 against New Zealand at Delhi in 1965 helps India to win that Test by 7 wickets. Without any doubt, Srinivas Venkataraghavan declared man of the match in that Test. He also scored 748 runs in Test cricket. His highest score of 64 against New Zealand at Chennai in 1976 helps India to win that Test by 216 runs. He hits 2 half-centuries and 3 sixes. As a fielder, he took 44 catches. Srinivas Venkataraghavan played 15 ODI matches and took 5 wickets with a horrible bowling average of 108.40. His best bowling of 2 for 34 against Pakistan at Sahiwal in 1978 was one of the controversial match in one-day cricket history. Captain late Bishan Singh Bedi conceded the match in protest against the short-pitched bowling tactics of Pakistan. Sarfaraz Nawaz's last 4 deliveries were all out of reach of the batsman and not called wide by the umpire. At that time, India was cruising to the victory with only 13 needed of 14 balls with 8 wickets in hand. He also scored 748 runs in Test cricket. As a fielder, he took 4 catches. Srinivas Venkataraghavan's first-class records were super blockbuster. He played 341 first-class matches and took massive 1,390 wickets with a super strong bowling average of 24.14. His best bowling in first-class cricket is 9 for 93. He took 5 wickets or more 85 times in an innings. He also scored 6,617 runs in first-class cricket with a highest score of 137. He has one century in his kitty. He also took 316 catches in first-class cricket. In List A, he played 71 matches and took 64 wickets with a bowling average of 35.34.